In Blocktales, players have complete freedom to decide how they want to tackle each fight. With all these options working in harmony, many fights become completely trivial. But what if you lost that synergy? In this video, we'll see if every weapon via the ball, sword, others, and NRG slot can triumph and collect the win force all on its own. Okay, let's get one thing clear. Captain Trotter's stance change that forces the usage of both projectile and melee moves should be a major roadblock. However, because Calypso is forced into this battle, I find it fair to use this opportunity to our advantage by having her switch the stance for us. Plus, if we didn't, then this would be a very short and uninteresting video. I'll start off by clarifying that each run starts the moment we get access to said weapon. If we didn't, then the ball would be the only true contender since it's the only weapon accessed at the beginning of the game. Alright, first up is Slingshot, since it's the earliest weapon to hit a wall. In Chapter 2, 3 of the 5 bosses have 1 defense, with Bubonic Plant having 2. This is Slingshot's one and only weakness, and at our current state of the game, we don't have access to cards like Slinger or Power Shot that allow us to negate this drawback. So let's run down our options, shall we? Rocket Launcher and Fire Boots weaken defense, but both deal damage, ruling them out completely. And Softener requires Sword, so that's obviously not happening. With the obvious options gone, we're gonna have to look deeper. There are actually 2 options that could potentially handle this situation. And if you want to figure it out, pause the video. I'll reveal the answer in 5 seconds. If you said Tickle Stick or Prayer, then you'd be correct. Prayer potentially produces a good or bad effect towards anybody on the field, and one of its 12 possible outcomes causes everyone on the field to receive -2 defense for 3 turns. Taking a look at Tickle Stick, it's much more straightforward, diminishing the target's defense by 3 for 3 turns. When it comes to choosing, Tickle Stick is by far our best option since it's the most reliable option we have and can potentially damage enemies like Prayer. With our funny little stick acquired, we can easily breeze through every boss in Chapter 2, plus purple and green, allowing us to reach the Banished Knight merchant in the manor so we can purchase Power Shot. This card lets us completely negate defense with the cost of some SP, and this card alone actually makes the entirety of Chapter 3 and 4 trivial. However, Chapter 5 puts an end to our parade, introducing the deadliest fight of the entire run. One singular, mandatory Red Cliff Knight, whose attribute, the projectile stance, completely negates our attacks. Even this chapter's required ally is completely useless here, since Cassie will never attack her own people, and even if she could, all her moves are projectiles. As a result, Slingshot cannot finish Demo 5 all by itself. This Red Cliff enemy isn't actually a run killer exclusive to Slingshot. Every projectile cannot get past this odd encounter. Knowing this inevitable fate, let's quickly burst through the rest of the range attacks to get them out of the way. Dynamite being able to pierce all defense makes it unstoppable until the run killer. Rocket Launcher doesn't have a problem with defense, but its low attack can make it difficult to kill Bubonic Plant, having a defense of 2. However, multiple damage increasing tools are at our disposal, enabling the rocket to also reach the Red Cliff encounter. Paintball doesn't even get to fight a boss yet, before meeting the Red Cliff Knight, only being acquired in Chapter 5 after the Magnificent fight. While the ball does fall just like its projectile brethren, its path to get there is extremely similar to Sword, so a 2-in-1 is fitting in this situation. Both weapons have a clear weakness where the answer is found from the other. Ball cannot hit spikes, and Sword cannot hit flyings, yin and yang. However, this synergy becomes less influential with certain cards filling in the gap of their weakness. Cannonball, a passive card, found in Chapter 2, allows the ball to hit spiked enemies, although spikes wouldn't even become an issue until Chapter 5 with a mandatory roblox army and regional encounters, while Sword Toss, found during Chapter 3, lets Sword hit flying enemies at the cost of some SP, being essential for Chapter 4's aerial bosses. And additionally, Sword is the only weapon capable of defeating Trotter completely on its own, since Sword Toss counts as a projectile, allowing you to cycle its stance. It's also the first, so far, to defeat Red Cliff Guard, since it's a melee attack. With Sword's loaded options, Frostmaw is easily defeated, crowning Sword as our first champion. With all the projectiles' fates being discovered, we are left only with melee weapons and NRG. Well, we might as well cover that one since it's a bit of an outlier. At times, it seems to be a projectile, and at others, being a direct hit. This should have caused a lot of confusion, but actually is the simplest outcome of all the combat moves, since the sword arts go through any defense outside of infinite and any stance. So the moment we acquire Venom Shank, we should theoretically be able to sweep through the entire game, yet one boss stands in our way: Temple Guardian. Our issue is born from an attribute unique to it, being disabled NRG. This causes the NRG option to be removed from the entirety of the fight. This should be our end. Well, it's important to mention that we are not alone. Calypso is with us and is capable of slowly chipping away at the Temple Guardian. But I don't know how to feel about it. This challenge pushes each weapon to its absolute limits, and sometimes we're forced to accept the unfortunate finish. So if we allow Calypso to clear the entire fight for us, does it even deserve the count anymore? The deciding factor comes from your opinion. There is no definitive answer, so I'm going to consider both outcomes to please both sides of the coin. Keeping Calypso alive long enough for her to defeat the Guardian allows us to absolutely demolish the remaining bosses. So with the Venom Shank and Firebrand in our hands, Frostmaw stands absolutely no chance, letting Sword Arts join the sword on the podium. However, not allowing Calypso to carry us to victory would stop our journey at the Temple Guardian. This decision is forced onto us once more with the shovel. Being accessed right before the Guardian fight, it is capable of hitting 2 hands. However, the head flies, forcing us to make another difficult decision. This time, Calypso has to finish off just the head, since 2/3 of the enemies can be defeated simply by us. The Ancients are completely unaffected by the shovel, however, and Calypso is just barely able to kill its summons fast enough to extremely slowly chip away at the boss's health, and all we need to do is keep her alive long enough for the battle to end, which takes so much RNG. You have to play it perfectly and hope the Ancients attack Calypso the least amount possible. While there's definitely strategies to get around these struggles, it's extremely tedious, but still is possible. Proceeding into Chapter 5, Trouble is able to get past every encounter right until the Frostmaw. Frostmaw will often enter a defensive state where he is airborne. Thankfully, Cassie is forced upon us and is capable of killing the boss all on her own. And if this strategy was allowed for the Temple Guardian and the Ancients fight, Frostmaw should be no exception, letting Shovel claim the win force and complete the game on a technicality. However, not getting carried by Calypso brings Shovel to a stop at the Temple Guardian, and if not, then our journey definitely ends at the Ancients. Finally on this list is Rocket Boots. Accessed in Chapter 2, these kicks can diminish defense and burn foes. However, its base damage is quite low, so when acquired, it struggles a bit against defense. Although, cards like Anti-Up and Charge calm this concern. Additionally, with the added damage from acquiring Hyper Ball and late game resources, this flying and close range attack cannot be stopped, and is fully capable of sweeping every single challenge this game throws at us, earning the win force and crowning Rocket Boots as our final winner. Now knowing every outcome, this allows me to quickly recap the ending of each weapon. Sword and Fire Boots fully complete the game on their own. Additionally, Shovel and NRG achieve the same feat with the help of mandatory allies. However, Sword is the only one who doesn't need Calypso's help with Trotter's stance, and is the only weapon not requiring any mandatory allies to acquire the win force. Slingshot, Rocket Launcher, Dynamite, Paintball Gun, and Ball all get stopped by an unavoidable Redcliffe Knight encounter whose defensive stance prevents the usage of projectiles. If we decided that allies doing all the work for us goes against the challenge, then Shovel would be stopped at the Temple Guardian or the Ancients, and NRG being halted at the Temple Guardian. So yeah, that should answer the question of which weapons can beat blocktales on its own. If you're unhappy with Calypso being the reason why so many weapons were capable of ending triumphant, then I completely understand. But she's the reason why this video is possible. I really do hope you enjoyed, and please, let me know if you found a way to get around any of these run ending encounters. There's always a chance that I missed something, or made a mistake, and I always appreciate your feedback and perspectives. Before I go, thank you so much for 500, 600, and even 700 subscribers. I'm in total disbelief. You guys have showed so much support for my recent videos, and every single one of you is making my childhood dream come true. I'll continue to make these genuine, passionate videos for every single one of you. Also, if you'd like to see me do or play something, please leave a comment. Who knows, I might make a video on it. And subscribe also if you want to see what's next. Alright, I've got nothing left to say. Have yourself a great day, and see you next time.